Hello everyone and welcome to new video from Minimalism with Michelle. I'm a female working adult, so besides work, I have a full-time parenting job with my two kids, just like any parent out there. So today in my video, I'm gonna touch upon how have I done my parenting. I find these days spending the whole days with my two kids. My elder son is 9, my younger daughter is 7, no longer a battle. They have started getting into their routines and daily responsibilities. They no longer drag themselves to tasks, and they have developed certain level of sympathy and gratitude towards life. So indeed, this is more than what I can ask for kids this age. You may say I'm too proud of my own kids. Yes, indeed. But let me share with you the 5 key principles I have instilled around, how we do parenting at home. So number 1, your kids will follow your lifestyle and attitude towards life. That's our key principle. So my family, we lead a pretty simple life. We're all pretty disciplined. And when I was younger, I perceived repetition of daily routines as boredom. But over time, I realized this is actually the highest level of freedom. Every day when my kids wake up, the first thing they have to do is to make bed. Of course, we don't expect them to have, 4 sharp corners of the blankets, because quality of the work depends on their age. But what is more important is to get that things done. And every day after meals, they have to wash the dishes and clear the sink. So for the past 3 months at home, they have done it every day, up to 3 times per day. Of course, I give them a small reward, right? Small allowance for each time they wash the dishes. So that gives them certain level of excitement. But now it becomes a routine. And also every day they are tasked to finish, my elder one, 50 pages of Harry Potter book, and my younger one, 2 chapters, because she has a smaller version book. And as of now, my son already finished the 7th volume, while my younger one is on her 4th book. So again, I have a reward for them. The reward is after each time they finish the book volume, my whole family will watch the movie of that episode together. They love it. Besides being disciplined and responsible around the house or the community, we constantly try to show them our gratitude towards life. So every time we see, a disadvantaged kid or families or human beings around the world, through internet, let's say, we would try to send them the message that, we are so lucky growing up with a full functional body, with no terminal disease when we were born, and have a roof to shelter under, and luckily haven't been starving for a day, right? So, but of course when they turn 6 or 7, I don't have to repeat that message explicitly anymore. For example, if we pass by a traffic light corner and there was a kid standing there begging for money, I saw that my kids will exchange eyes with me. So they understand, right? Wow, this kid, he has to do all this while I'm being sheltered safely and sound in my home. So this is what I will continue to be doing. And I think it helps to build the gratitude for them towards life. So number 2, I prioritize kindness and empathy over being smart. Asian moms are known to be tiger moms who watch over their kids ever so closely, especially on how they progress at school, how smart they are compared to their friends and peers. I'm an Asian too, right? No exception. So that is where I try to be on the highest level of my awareness when I give praises to my kids, so they can feel that, being kind and being empathetic is more important than being smart. To be honest, it's not fair if I would say I don't care how my kids are progressing at school. But when I spend enough time with my kids, I will understand their understanding level towards life matters. When I explain to them, I would know, what is their intelligence level around. And when I have developed that understanding, I build my own confidence that, they can't really do so badly at school unless they really want to screw it up. So with that confidence, I have more freedom, and I would rather spend, my time, which is already limited, on teaching them life lessons rather than hoovering over their homework. My son used to worry me nuts because he's quite competitive, And I tell him explicitly, competitive can be good, but it can also be bad. And I keep reminding him, his competitiveness should be internally driven, because he wants to be good every day, compared with himself yesterday, rather than he want to be good and he want to surpass his friend ABC just to feel the winning feeling. And I keep reminding him. So in my family, the key principle is to be repeating all the times until they get it. So each and every incident happened to us that bring us inconvenience or disadvantage, I would try to give them a reason so that they have the understanding or the look at a different angle. For example, when we are on the street and there's a car sped up, passing by us, and then without proper signaling, it's pretty annoying, right? And it can be a dangerous situation. So I was just telling them that maybe, inside that car, the driver is trying to bring his family member to emergency room, just like how I send you to doctors, when you have asthma. So we have to be in a rush. Also, on another occasion, I was cheated by an online merchant for 1 million Vietnam dong, which is not small, but again, it's not much. I share that with my kids because I wanna train them to start, spotting things that is unusual so that we don't get scammed. And then they asked me, "Mommy, why don't you tell the policeman?" I said, yes, I can, but maybe that person needs, 1 million more than us. Maybe his family is starving during COVID time. So, and the amount is not that much. So I'll let it pass. So usually I will find that kind of soft angle and give them, so they have, they build less frustration over situations in life, and it makes their life easier. So the third principle is around brain development. So we agreed to focus on reading, language, and arts. To me, brain development of my children is really important, as I'm a strong believer in early education. And it's more than just, knowing numbers, computation, maths, or how nice your handwriting looks like traditional Vietnam school value. So to me, knowing languages is more than just about brain development, because it's really practical. I let my kids go on bilingual school since kindergarten. It's not international school, it's just a small bilingual school with Filipinos teacher. So they give my kids exposure on using day-to-day English. And of course, me and my husband at home, we also practice a lot with them on how we use our English. So up until maybe 2 years ago, I think their English comprehensions is pretty good. And then at that time, I started introduce Chinese. I keep telling them, I heard a saying, knowing English will helps you travel half of the world, but you need to know Chinese to complete the other half. So on reading, since toddlers, I try to buy a lot of books. And my tips is to get the books as close to them as possible. Don't be too nice, tidy, in a bookshelf, and then it's out of their reach. Because kids are very curious, they can't help opening such a nice cover books and find out what is in there. So either I read to them during bedtime story, or they would just flip over the books, by themselves when they were really young. But that instilled the habit of, having books around them and reading books. So my kids, I think they started out reading comic books. I bought them Doraemon, and then Tappy, and then the 7 Dragon Balls. So they really like these books. But of course, reading too much comics books is not as good as reading, a proper words books. So since beginning of this year, I started introduce for them, a proper books like Harry Potter. And as I shared earlier, they have finished it now. And usually I let them, interchange. If you finish this amount of words books, then you can read on a comic books. So I let them understand the difference and the purposes of the two. Since babies, my kids were very much refrained from watching YouTube or screen time in general. I started introduced to them at 2, and the reason was they have asthma, when they were young. And with asthma at school, they would have to put on the ventilator. And for kids, they can't sit still. So I have to open up nursery rhymes on YouTube, and then they will sit still and watch the YouTube channel. But beyond that, I don't really let them watch much, even until now, right? Now we have a TV, but our whole family will only watch it during weekends on family movie. We agree that every week we would have Saturday nights or Sunday night watching family movie, and that's the time everybody watch together. We really enjoy this routine. Thanks to this, they don't really develop a habit of having a lot of screen time or any cravings, that I need to watch this, I need to watch that. During lockdown, my kids' main activities will be reading. My son plays Rubik's. Oh, I have one right here. He plays Rubik's. They draw, like this is his watch collections. And also my daughter will write her whole comic series. So it's very interesting, to see how kids spend time. And from seeing those, I'm very confident I have been on the right track. The fourth principle is, to have constant conversation with our children. One of the tips I learned when I read a parenting book is for parents to restrain from using simplified kiddish version of vocabulary to our babies or toddlers, because it doesn't help them at all. And I think that's one of the most valuable lessons I learned early. And since young, if anybody hear my conversation with my sons or my daughter, they would think, oh, this is a very serious mom. But that's the price I'm willing to pay, because I would talk to them like adults. I will use proper vocabularies, of course Vietnamese and English, because I know to kids or to babies, it doesn't matter which version you use. I will take it as a matter of fact. So why not, introduce the proper vocabularies for them since young, and they build up their language skills. So over time, me and my husband, we are able to talk a lot of topics with my children. You will be surprised the extent of topics that we talk about. So for example, Alan has a business, so he's an employer, and I'm an employee working for a bank. We will share with them the different perspectives, between employee and employer, so that later on, when he grows up, he can decide which sides he want to be. And my daughter is a surprise, she's a quiet listener. And all the while, most of the topics we share, social topics that we share, are mainly with our elder one, because he's bigger, he's more vocal, and he, we have a conversation two ways. But for my daughter, she's only listening. And we don't know whether she understands. But when she starts being 5 or 6, she starts questioning back. And through the words she used and through the way she asks, we understand that indeed she has intake a lot of information all the while, but she's just being quiet. So my message is, don't undervalue your children in responsiveness in matters that you share with them, because they take it in one way or another. So meal times is our favorite time, because this is where we bring up a lot of social topics, from kids bullying at school to, for example, nowadays the COVID death rate in different countries around the world, from employees like mommy, we have to reskill ourselves, otherwise robot will take over our job in the future. So anything, and we build that rapport and friendship along the way. So my fifth principle around parenting is about money. We teach them about money very early in life. My family, when I was younger, was not always in money surplus, right? But we don't feel poor. Me and my two elder sisters, we observed the way that my parents worked very hard, save money, send us to schools, and we're really proud of it. We grow up, knowing for sure, you have to work hard to get what you want. That's why I'm not much concerned. My kids growing up, they will know how to work hard, because if you live that kind of life, your kids will definitely follow you. But the part that I am more concerned or spending time understanding is how to teach them how to use money. This lesson I wasn't really given when I was younger, because my parents are busy making ends meet. When I was in the first semester of university, I happened to read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a very common and popular book, right? And this book has given me a lot of lessons and understanding around personal finance. And it still give me a good direction until now. And through this book, I also share with my kids on the key concepts around money, about needs and wants, about assets, liabilities. Of course, with details and with specific examples, they will grab the sophisticated concepts. And now when they're getting slightly bigger, I start introduce books for them about money. I have one here, Managing Your Money. Of course, this book is not written for kids at about 7 or 9. It's written for students. But I think it can be introduced to, and it's really cute, right? With a lot of drawings and all, so the kids find it attractive. So every night I will read one small chapter with them, right, about how to manage your money. And that is where my kids started to have allowances for washing dishes, for clearing up the cat's bedding every day. And then, they will separate their income into 6 jars. The 6 jars concept that I adopt from the internet sources. And then with the toys jars, they can buy whatever they want. But of course, that jar is only 20% of their money. The rest, it will be investment, it will be savings, it will be charity, and so on. So I know they may not get all the concepts, but I started introducing, and they are still following. We have been doing it for a year now. And of course, I have to remind them that, money, there's a very fine line. Money is important, yes. Nobody can deny the fact that money can buy you, a home, or buys you meals that keep you not from starving. But when it reached to a level, right, money cannot buy happiness. So that is the message we're still instilling on a daily basis. So yes, that's the 5 key principles in our parenting style. I would love to hear from you guys by you giving comments down below on what are your key principles in parenting too, so we can learn from each other. And if you like this video, please click the like button and also click the subscribe button so you can see my upcoming videos. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.